On February 25, 1943, in the midst of World War II, a boy was born in Liverpool who would change the history of music. His name, George Harrison. Liverpool was a port city battered by German bombing raids. It wasn't exactly the most promising place to dream of worldwide fame. George was the youngest of 4 children in a working-class family. His father, Harold Harrison, was a bus driver. His mother, Louise French, worked as a shop assistant and was the true musical heart of the household. Louise had an open mind and a special sensitivity to art, something uncommon in the rigid England of that time. The family lived in the Wavertree neighborhood in modest houses. There were no luxuries, but there was discipline and affection. From a young age, George displayed a quiet, observant, almost shy nature. He wasn't the loudest in the class, nor the natural leader of the group, but he had something different, an intense concentration when something interested him. In the mid-1950s, rock and roll began to cross the Atlantic. Artists like Elvis Presley and Buddy Holly started getting airplay on British radio. For many teenagers, it was rebellious music. For George, it was an invitation to join the music world. At 13, he decided he wanted a guitar. His family didn't have much money, but his mother supported him and eventually got him a cheap, second-hand acoustic guitar. The strings were hard, and when he tried to play it, his fingers hurt, and he couldn't get the chords to sound clean. But George had a quality that would define his entire career: obsessive persistence until he achieved the desired result and sound. He spent hours in his room practicing. His friends went outside to play. He practiced musical scales. He listened to records over and over, trying to copy every note. If he made a mistake, he started again. His mother, far from discouraging him, supported him and even boasted to the neighbors that her son would be a musician someday. That quiet faith of Louise's was crucial. George would always remember that his mother was the first person who truly believed in him. In his youth, George attended Liverpool Institute, the same school as an older boy named Paul McCartney. Although they weren't friends at first, they shared the same school bus on their way home. Paul already played guitar and was involved in a group led by a charismatic young man named John Lennon. That group was called the Quarrymen. George was just a skinny, shy teenager with a youthful appearance and a guitar in hand, practicing whenever he could. Paul noticed him playing guitar one day while riding the same bus, approached him, and started talking to him about music. From that moment on, they became friends. After several conversations and trips on the same bus, they both discovered their love for American music. In February 1958, Paul decided to introduce young George to John. The problem was age. George was only 15. John, who was older at 18, was skeptical of the skinny kid. John decided to heed Paul's recommendation, as one of the comments was that George played guitar better than all the Quarrymen. The informal audition took place on the top of a double-decker bus in Liverpool. George performed a complex instrumental piece called Raunchy with precision, rhythm, clear chords, and musical mastery. John was impressed. It wasn't just that he knew how to play, it was that he did it cleanly and confidently, and he was better than any of them. Even so, Lennon hesitated because of his age. But he finally accepted for a key reason. In a group that was just starting out, that could make all the difference. And so, the quiet boy became a member of the band. Between 1958 and 1960, the group changed its name several times, evolving from the Quarrymen to finally becoming the Beatles. For George, these were formative years. They played wherever they could: parties, small clubs, school events, churches, festivals. They carried their own amplifiers, earned little or nothing, and learned to play for hours on end without a break. In 1958, a devastating blow struck. John Lennon's mother was killed in a car accident. This event deeply affected the group. George, though more reserved, was a silent supporter of Lennon. During those years, his own family also faced financial difficulties, but he never wavered in his support for Lennon's musical dream. In 1960, a pivotal opportunity arose. Playing in clubs in Hamburg, Germany, most of them were just teenagers. For George, who was still a minor under German law, the trip involved a risk. However, this experience would force them to play for hours every night, honing their style and stamina, as they often played non-stop in various clubs. Although they weren't yet famous in 1960, they were already a transformed band. George had gone from being a shy kid with a cheap guitar to becoming an essential part of the group's sound. As the lead guitarist, until 1960, George Harrison was a hard-working, serious, somewhat introverted, but determined teenager. In the grey streets of Liverpool, amidst buses, factories, and small clubs, a story was beginning to unfold that would soon become a global phenomenon. It all started with a quiet boy, a mother who believed in him, and a second-hand guitar that its owner refused to part with. He quickly mastered the guitar, the chords, the strumming, and undoubtedly transformed a group of young Beatles into a rock and roll band. By early 1961, was already recognized in their hometown of Liverpool and in Hamburg, Germany, where numerous groups often performed hoping to achieve wider recognition. Paul's success, John's decision, and George's arrival laid the solid foundation for a group that would conquer the world in a short time, and whose music endures to this day. 66 years later, no one can match them. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your family and friends.